Welcome, legends. It's time for Tack Room Talk. Proudly brought to us by our friends at Silver Lining Herbs. And now your host, from Buell, Idaho, a Wrangler National Finals bareback rider, Josi Young.
And we're back for the next episode. It's been a couple of weeks, but hey, we're back at it. On today's episode, I have one of the guys with the prettiest smile, the prettiest teeth, and this guy can spur bucking horses too. Caleb Bennett, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
And my co-host, the one, the only, the sales machine himself, Chance Shootnick. How'd you like that intro?
Well, when you're talking about spurring bucking horses and having pretty teeth, I thought you were talking about me, but then you looked over to Caleb, so I didn't know.
Hey, let's talk about that. Did you used to spur bucking horses a little bit?
Well, I did beat Wade Sundell 2 years in a row in high school rodeo, and at one point I had to make a decision on what to do with my life. He chose bucking horses. I chose.
Hold the phone. Anybody out there that can get Wade Sundell on the phone, I'm pretty sure I can. Caleb, I know you can.
Yeah.
We're going to have to fact check this and make sure that Chance Shootnick beat Wade Sundell
2 years in a row.
He's pretty confident about that, Caleb.
We definitely need to get Wade on the horn. I don't believe this.
Actually, do you have his number on you right now? We should call him.
Yeah, we should call him.
Call him.
Call
Maybe
him up.
man, Chance was
No, let's call him. Let's get him on the phone.
Okay.
I think this will be good.
I hope he remembers who I am.
He's like, who?
Chance Shuckaneck?
Here, we gotta put it on.
I don't have his number.
Oh my gosh.
Man.
We're gonna have to get back to this one.
Absolutely.
So Caleb,
Dang.
we are sitting right now in Grapevine, Texas, and if anybody doesn't know where Grapevine, Texas is, DFW Dallas Fort Worth Airport is literally right behind me right now. Explain to the people that are listening what we are doing right here, right now.
As far as the podcast?
Yeah, we're doing a podcast, but besides that, what's going on tonight?
So, what is it? Round 8 of the Wrangler National Finals Rodeo taking place here in Arlington tonight. Down in the locker room, the guys have been calling it Los Arlington.
Los Arlington.
I get it. Combination there of Las Vegas and Arlington. Round 8, and as far as like what I'm over.
This is a little different for you this year, isn't it?
A lot different. Yeah,
because you're usually nodding your head.
Usually nodding my head and taking the director duties all in one. And this year it's just straight up director duties. Helping these guys take care of horses, getting them in the right pens, doing all that good fun stuff. But tonight, the bareback riding, these guys are going to have some fun. And
Explain, have some fun.
I mean that with a lot of sarcasm. It's the eliminator pen tonight. These guys are they're not going to have that much fun. There's going to be a couple in there that are fun to get on, but these guys are going to be bearing down, gritting their teeth, and there's going to be a lot of ice.
So you gotta probably admit that it's a little easier to set these pins when you're not nodding your head. You're like, oh yeah, this one deserves to be in there.
Yeah, I mean, when let's be honest, you go through there, if you're entered, you're like, gosh, dang, I don't think I'd like that one. So let's try to bury that one in the re-rides, and I don't know that one. But when you're not entered, you got to get them all bucked. I mean, that's part of my job, and I don't look at it that way. I just look at trying to put the best pen together that I can.
Is Killer Bee in this pin?
Yes.
So, Killer Bee's a little scary.
I mean, yeah. Yeah.
Your traveling partner had her last time she was out.
Yep.
Richmond champion. And I thought he did an excellent job handling her.
Yeah, I thought so too. I mean, for what they marked that horse all year long, the prestige is fine as far as being, like you said, scary. Like a lot of guys, I mean, guys bring her, they go get on her, but no one really truly wants to see that horse next to the name.
Yeah.
Like, let's be honest. I mean, there's not one guy in that locker room that's like, yeah, I want that horse. They're all like, well, I mean, if I draw her, I'm going to bear down and do my best, but that's not necessarily the one I want.
So let's explain to everybody what you mean by that, because, what is it that she does that makes her difficult?
What isn't she doesn't do? That'd be the better way to put it. She's, I mean, everything an eliminator is in one package. She's jumping 3-4 feet off the ground, moving ahead, a good, I don't know, we call it buck and shoot lengths, but that's kind of the cowboy term. You'd say she moves ahead, 3-4 feet every time she jumps in there, and then shoots forward and kicks, and she's kicking the lights out, you know.
And she's a big horse too.
Yeah, you know, and she's freaking a bottle-fed horse, which makes her even a little more scary because she runs in there and she doesn't look that scary, and she's licking her lips like, okay, you know, what's going on? She doesn't shoot fight you. She stands there like a shot dog, and honestly, she runs in there, and the guys are like, why is this one so scary? And then they nod their head and they find out. I mean, like Richie talked to me after he got on, he's like, there's just nothing good about that, or nothing that feels good about that horse. Like, it's pain the whole way across there. And she's jumping and kicking and she's moving ahead and dropping. Like, there's certain eliminators out there that just jump in the air and drop and kick hard. Mm-hmm. And then there's ones like her that drop, kick hard, and move forward all in one. And she's, I mean, the all-in-one package of the eliminators.
I remember when she first come around, I was still rodeoing, and she was extremely scary then, I felt like, because she was, at least now, she's got somewhat of a pattern. The last few times I've seen her, she's kind of got a little bit of a pattern. But, man, when she first come around, like, I literally thought she was going to kick so hard that she'd do a front flip, or I seen her flop on her side once or twice. Oh, yeah. You know, I was just like, holy cow, that horse is way too big to be landing on you.
Oh, yeah. And like you said, she does have more of a pattern now. And I think that's kind of what's helping guys get along with her a little bit better. Mm-hmm. You know, going back to like Richie having her the other night, my opinion, Casey Fields won the round that night. Probably the flashiest, best bareback rider of the night for sure. Mm-hmm. But if you go as far as prestige and what the horse's strength and capabilities are of Killer B, in my opinion, Richie should have won the round hands down.
Yeah. Well, that's been an ongoing battle for quite some time, is the judging system. I mean, that's one of the reasons that I got sick of riding was the judging was so unpredictable. And I think a lot of it has to do with a lot of them guys have never run their hand in a rigging and know what that horse feels like. I mean, like us guys, like me being done for a while, I haven't been on for 5 years now, but I can look at that horse, even the new ones that are coming around that I've never seen before. I can look at them and be like, wow, she's droppy, she's heavy, you know, without getting on them.
Yeah, you know, and that's, like you said, that's all something you learn to visualize, see, and adapt to as being a bareback rider. Mm-hmm. You can point that out without ever tying to them, you know?
Yeah.
That's one thing that's, I guess, nice about running your hand and actually experiencing it.
And Killer B, you know, I think we're getting stuck on Killer B here a little bit, but she's worth talking about. That's the same horse that put Casey Field out of commission there for a little while too, isn't it?
Yeah, that is. You know, he tied to her in the short round at Austin, and I mean, made one of the best bareback rides I've seen made on that horse. Mm-hmm. And then right there, the get off and the end of it kind of took a turn for the worst on his behalf, and took a hit to the head, and it put him out. I mean, for a good 6 months with a head injury, you know, and that just goes to show you what, well, not just her, but all these horses are capable of here tonight.
Yeah, and that's when Casey, I feel like, got really involved in the CBD business. As you know, he's a owner in Power Pro CBD, and that he gives all the credit to his comeback with using CBD, and man, it's pretty cool to see. As you know, Silver Lining is one of the main sponsors for this podcast. Also, iHempire CBD. So I want to give a shout out to everybody. Just look into the CBD world and check it out. Obviously, herbal products for Silver Lining Herbs as well. Full line of human products now. Don't you use some of those, Caleb?
Yeah, I do. I use almost the whole human line that you guys put out now, and I love it.
Yeah. When you come onto the team, we just had the horse line, and you being a bareback rider, explain what you did with your Silver Lining products.
Well, I mean, that's when I come on. You guys had, I mean, your dog products, the horse products, and I believe I was with you the one time. I actually just tried to put a scoop of the herbal horse products into a glass of orange juice, and that was horrible tasting. So
terrible idea.
Yeah, I mean, it got the job done if you could gag it down. But
my dad, that's how he still does it.
He still?
Yes, I think you do too, don't you, Chance?
I put it in my smoothies, so it's
Yeah,
that covers.
Covers it up. Yeah.
I just can't get over the orange juice or apple juice with garlic, or you know, it's like you got sweet and savory, and it's like, ew, just can't do it.
Oh yeah. So, I turned to the dog products. Everything was in capsules. Mm-hmm. So clear up until you guys come out with the human line, I was taking basically all the stuff I'm taking now, but I mean it had a dog paw on it.
Yeah.
And in a bottle. And for a guy like me, I mean, I've got a couple rope horses, and I use, quite a bit of the silver lining products for them rope horses and all that stuff. But being a
and your champion ponies too, right?
I sold those.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
You sold your bucking horses?
No, just the little ponies.
Oh.
He had this stud pony that when we had our little pony mare, we were going to get her bred to.
Yeah. I had the little stud.
Why did you sell the pony?
Well, you want me to get on that topic now?
I mean, you do you. Whatever.
Well, we were talking about the human line products.
Yeah, keep going. Keep going.
Anyway, the human line is huge for me.
Yeah.
I mean, I take the everyday, the liver, the joint, I don't know, I can't remember. I've got 4 or 5 different bottles of it, but that's been huge products for me.
Well, I think especially for a guy like you, it's key. I mean, you use your body to make your money. And in today's world, when I first started riding bucking horses, it was kind of a tough man mentality, and there'd be a few guys working out, just doing general stuff. But from what I'm seeing these days, like at the end of my career and from then till now, there's so many guys that are working at it extremely hard. When they're at home, they're in the gym a lot, and trying to stay healthy. I mean, every little edge you get, you should take it.
Oh yeah, it's a different era, and especially in the bareback riding. And in my opinion, I mean, you see more guys working at it and trying to be as physically fit as they can, versus ducking off and hitting rodeos based on how good the beer gardens are. You don't see. I mean, guys still have a good time. Don't get me wrong, but it's turned into a full on athlete sport event, whatever you want to call it. Like there's that locker room that I've been part of every night here. Is these guys, you can tell they're in the gym every day working at this, and it shows with the riding nowadays, in my opinion, because these horses are stronger, they're bucking harder, and these guys are able to get by with a couple bags of ice and still get through 10 rounds of the NFR.
For sure. What did Cody Custer say the other day? We heard him talking about Jamie Mooney made the comment of the locker room so much different. They're doing yoga and foam rolling, and nobody has any Copenhagen or beer anymore like that in the locker room.
JB's like cowboy through and through, and like old school Marlboro Man cowboy, smoking cigarettes and, walking around, and, I mean, he might shoot a shot of whiskey or something before he gets on a bull to help with the pain or something. And he says it's just so different these days. I walk in the locker room and he says, it just feels different. There's some guy over in the corner doing yoga and
oh yeah, foam rollers, the Theraguns, and all that stuff. Yeah, it's a different atmosphere in a locker room. Even, I mean, I don't consider myself that old or been around that long, but even
you're one of the old guys now, bud.
How long have you been rodeoing professionally?
When I started, it's changed.
Hey,
you've been like 10 years, haven't you?
You need to embrace this, because when I was around, you're like, "What's up, old man?" Well, yeah, what's up, old man?
Well, you're still older than me, so
that's right.
But I do embrace it. I mean, it is what it is.
Exactly. I'll
be the veteran.
You're the sensei that all the young guys come to. What do I do better, Father?
Yeah, literally. LB and Cole Reiner, the 2 young guns here in the bareback riding, they call me Dad.
Nice.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
Those 2 boys and Jesse Pope, holy crap, they ride good.
They ride really good, and they've come here this week and showed it. I mean, they show they deserve to be here.
I really like that Jesse Pope, because I'm a long-legged bareback rider, and I've got a lot of respect for that guy. He rides good.
Yeah, he does.
Really good. I mean, the others ride good too, but man, I just know from being there, being long-legged. I mean, I'm 6 foot, and especially them small horses, to bend your knee and shorten up, and having a little longer spur stroke, and having to be quicker footed because you got a little more to set.
Yeah.
So Man, that kid rides really good.
Yeah, he does.
So what's caused that? Because, like, I remember, like, there's Bobby Moat was a standout, and then Casey Fields a standout, and then, you had 2 or 3 guys that rode good, and then, but now it's like all 15 guys, like, sit up and spur when nobody's, like, leaning back on the end of their arm and wild. Like, what's caused that evolution?
Just what we talked about. Everybody's in the gym and taking it serious.
Yeah.
Like, they're not just rodeo cowboys anymore. They're athletes.
Yeah.
Like, you've got to be an athlete now to excel in this sport and do good or make a living riding bucking horses. Plain and simple. You can't sit on the couch, play video games, do whatever it is, kids do nowadays or or whatever rodeo guys used to do.
Right.
And make it. That's just plain and simple.
For sure.
Yeah. So let's switch gears here a little bit. What are you, a year into a new marriage?
Yeah, a year and October 12th. It's on my ring. I got it.
That's smart.
Yeah.
That's extremely
That's a
smart.
life hack right there.
She did well. She knew I'd probably need to remind myself when that day was. But yeah, a year, October 12th.
Yeah, and she's a pretty good horsewoman herself.
Oh yeah. Yeah, she does really well with riding and making horses and breaking horses, and she loves it and makes her happy, so all the power to her.
Her name's Savannah, by the way.
Yeah. What do you want
I thought I was the awkward guy.
What do you want me to say? Yeah, Savannah's correct.
Yes, that is
Savannah is his wife. No, she's awesome. You know what she's really got a good talent for too is making videos. I used to sell a bunch of rope horses, and she actually come and filmed quite a few horses for me and took some pictures and put some videos together. And that's the key for sure. Besides having a nice horse, is putting together a good production, and she's pretty talented at that.
Yeah, I mean, with all of her media aspects,
Yeah.
she does a lot of trailer sales and stuff for her dad up there where we're living in Hamilton area, in the Hamilton area. And
I've seen you on a couple of those commercials too.
Yep, they've got
Kind of getting to be a little Hollywood.
They got me involved. Yeah. So yeah, she does really good with all that social media, and there's a lot of stuff she's helped me out with on my own deal.
What's the name of that trailer spot?
Hamilton RV.
Hamilton RV in Hamilton, Montana. So if any of you are in the Montana area looking for a travel trailer, camp trailer, whatever it is, what all do they have there?
Travel trailers, camp trailer. Yeah, they have it all, and they even have some like truck bed campers that get traded in. They don't really carry them, but if they get traded in and stuff, they've got a few of those. But
absolutely. And I'm going to give a little push here. Caleb has always got iHempire CBD on hand.
Always.
So if you are in the area and you have sore joints, muscles, whatever, want to try the CBD out, come talk to Caleb. I'm sure he'll probably give you an autograph too.
Yeah,
I
can do that.
For free. And then you can look at his smiling teeth all the time. I give him crap. I'm like, what do you do to have such white, pretty teeth? Because I'm a little jealous. He's like, nothing. I'm just born with it.
Brush my teeth morning and night, drink a cup of coffee in between.
Oh, jeez. Come on now.
It's the truth.
So
I want to hear some rodeo stories. I want to hear some. I want to know what it's like out there on the road.
Do you want to know?
No, you don't.
Do you want to know the first time I ever met Caleb?
I do.
Do you remember the first time we met?
Yeah, I do. I was in high school.
Caleb was in high school, and I was sitting over. I was sitting at Sonny Murphy's house. Yeah. Sonny Murphy is a bull rider. He's a buddy of mine, and I think that was the year he made the national finals, and just killing it. That kid, right out of high school, he won the high school finals.
Yep.
And then that year, just missed making the NFR. The same year.
Yep.
By 2 spots or 1 spot. And then the next year, he obliterated them and made the finals in the first or second spot. Something like that. So, anyways, so we're sitting at his house, and he goes, hey, the high school rodeo is going on in Harriman, Utah. I said, great. What about it? And,
weren't real eager to go over to a high school rodeo?
Shoot, we go to 100 rodeos a year. It's like, geez Louise, I don't want to go to a dang high school rodeo, And He's like, well, there's this guy there, this kid that you got to meet. He's like, he'd be right. He's your style my wife used to call me the Rhinestone Cowboy. I used to be a little more flashy than I am now.
Yeah.
And he's like, there's a kid there that I think you'd really like. I said, all right, let's go. So we went down there. And the first time I seen you, you had long hair.
Yep.
And
so what year is this? Like what year is school?
I'm going to guess 2006 or 7.
So you're like a junior or
probably
something?
2005. Actually.
Yeah, maybe in 2005.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we go down there, and you're getting ready to get on a bucking horse, and I remember you had these cockroach killer boots on.
Oh yeah.
And they were red, white, black.
Yep. Pointy-toed.
Pointy-toed. Were they the ones with the dog bones on them? Maybe.
Nope. I hadn't got those ones yet.
Yeah. So, and then I watched him ride, and I was like, wow, that kid's got some talent. So, and then I think where'd we run into each other after that?
Geez, I don't even remember.
Was that your senior year?
No, I would have been a sophomore or junior that year.
Yeah. Now I feel old.
Yeah.
So did you ride good in high school?
Yeah, he rode good.
Yeah, I mean, I did all right.
Is that when you started? When did you start riding? Like sophomore year or something?
I started riding bucking horses when I was 12 years old.
Oh, really?
Way too soon. Wouldn't
Yeah.
recommend that for anybody.
So you don't think these little mini ponies are probably the way to start out?
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
Too many bad habits.
Yeah.
Way too many
Way
bad
too
Not
habits.
many
strong
bad.
enough. Too
No,
quick.
and there's no rhythm.
Nope.
Like they're
Kids aren't developed.
scattering, running, and the kids are not strong enough to. I mean, if myself or Caleb gets on one that scatters and runs, we look like crap. I mean,
well,
it's,
yeah,
you can't. There's nothing fundamentally to do correct, and yeah, I think it's exactly the same thing for the kids.
Yeah.
I think it's terrible.
I do too. I don't actually agree with it. I don't approve of it. I don't recommend it to anybody.
What they need to do is take a page out of Sid Steiner's book of how to bring a bareback rider upon us.
Yeah.
He handpicked everything from what I can tell for that kid and got his confidence extremely high.
And I mean, still does. I mean, but Rockers, he's still developing. He's still progressing. He's still growing. And Sid and Bobby understand that, and they see it, and they're helping him to stay on the right track till it's time to set him free, and let him do his own deal. But it shows. I mean, that kid rides like he's been riding for 10 years, and he's only been getting on bucking horse for a couple of years now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but when he hits the scene, his confidence will be extremely high, and he'll have to hit a break point at some point because he'll be entered somewhere where he may draw killer B or something like that.
Yep.
And then he's going to have to hit another learning curve of how to handle those kind.
Mm-hmm.
But man, that kid, they've done it right with him, I feel like.
I do too, and I mean, I've actually had that conversation with Sid. And I think they've done really good work with getting him up and going. But they've had all the right friends and all the right people in their corner too, from Casey, Tilden, whoever else, and to help kind of bring him in the right direction. And he'll be a force. I mean, like you say, he's gonna have to. There's gonna be a few learning curves. He's gonna hit them strong horses and have to learn to adapt and overcome that and learn to ride those. But I mean, I've been rodeoing professionally well over 10 years now and still have to learn that.
Yeah, it never stops.
It never stops.
I mean, when you feel like your confidence is extremely high, then all of a sudden next week it's like, wow, you run into something, you stub your toe, and then your confidence gets shot a little bit, and then it kind of compounds, and it's like, geez Louise, can I ever get out of this slump?
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, big time. Yeah.
But wouldn't you say that the people you surround yourself with are what helps you get out of that slump a little bit?
Oh yeah, I mean, you traveled up down the road, just as well as I do. People you're either traveling with or talking to all the time or whatever, they're the biggest help or mentors, or whatever you want to call it, to get out of any slump, or when you're on top, to keep you on top.
Absolutely. I remember, me and you traveled together for a little while there, and J.R. Vizane was with us. And how is J.R.? I haven't talked to J.R. in a little bit.
He's good.
I keep up with him on social media.
Yeah, I
guy's
talk to him all the time. He is
a beast, an absolute beast.
Yeah,
I got a lot of respect for J.R. Vizane. But I've got a rodeo story. You want to hear it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. It involves Caleb too. So we were up at Redding, California, and there was me and Caleb and J.R. Vizane were traveling together, and Casey Coletti calls us and is like, "Hey, can I catch a ride with you guys at Cloverdale after Redding?" And I says, "Yeah, absolutely." We were in me and JR's creeper van.
Yeah, 1992
Starcraft. Starcraft, buds. Hey, this thing could do it. And it was pretty comfortable, you got to admit.
It was very comfortable. If we had a big hill to climb, I was worried about this thing blowing up.
Okay, so speaking of that, I forgot about this part of the story, but I will remind you. We got pulled over out north of Redding. There's some big mountain areas there, and we're going up this hill. We get pulled over by a cop, and he comes up to the van, and he's like, "You guys cowboys?" And we're like, "Well, yeah, just come from the rodeo at Redding." He's like, "That gum," he says, "I pulled you over because this van looks creepy as hell, and you guys are going extremely slow." Do you remember this?
Yeah, I do.
I forgot about this. He goes, "You guys are going extremely slow up this hill." He says, "I didn't know if you guys were high or drunk or what," but he says, "I just know that you guys are a bunch of cowboys and you probably couldn't afford a nicer van, so you guys have a good night."
Send us on our way.
Yeah, nothing. I was like, man.
So all the cop stories I've heard is like, yeah, I was going 120 mile an hour trying to get to this rodeo. And
Nope.
I told this cop to take a hike, and
Not
that cop was just concerned.
No, he was.
We're going 35 with this thing pinned.
Yeah, might have been smoking a little bit, and we're right in the middle of some of the biggest, marijuana country there is,
Oh,
and
yeah.
he's just like, "You guys a bunch of cowboys, huh?" He was awfully surprised to hear us, be cowboys for sure. He was thinking there's a bunch of stoners. Anyway, so we go north, and we go through Oregon and Washington. Early in the morning, I introduced these guys to a good breakfast spot up there. My wife is from north of Seattle there. Now I forget the name of the breakfast spot. Right,
Patty's Egg Nest.
Yeah, Patty's Egg Nest. That's right. Really good.
I go there every year.
Yeah.
On my way from Redding to Cloverdale.
Yeah.
Haven't missed a year.
Yeah. So it.
Thank you, by the way.
One thing about rodeo guys, they know every restaurant in every small town in the country, it seems like.
Yeah, and airport.
Hey, you learn to find the good spots when you spend as much time on the road as we do.
Yeah.
For sure.
So we eat at Patty's Egg Nest. We're up at Cloverdale in the afternoon perf, and we're headed north. We go up to the Vancouver, British Columbia border, and I don't know if anybody's ever been to the border there, but it's one of the big border crossings. Lots of cars, lots of people going back and forth to Seattle to do shopping and things like that. Well, we're sitting in line. We've probably been sitting there 10 minutes, and I'm in the driver's seat, and everybody's just kind of doing their own thing, just kind of somber, and, we'd been driving all night, and
Real fast.
Yeah, real fast. It took us a long time to get there. And I was sitting there, and then all of a sudden I'm like, "Oh, crap." And everybody's like, "What?" I said, "I forgot to take my pistol out of this van."
Forgot about this. I do remember this now, though.
And I'm going to tell you what. I look in the back, and Caleb and JR are just like sweating bullets. I mean, Cloverdale's a big rodeo. This guy's, how many times have you won Cloverdale?
3 times.
3 times. It pays $20,000 to win the
Yep.
last round. So, I mean, it's not a rodeo you want to miss. And I'm like, oh, crap. Well, we're in lanes of cars. Like, there's 6 lanes of cars here. It's a big border crossing. And I mean, we're right in the middle of it. What am I going to do? Just drop it out on the road? Like, I didn't know what to do.
Keister it.
I mean, good luck, but yeah, that's an option.
Unload it first.
Yes, definitely.
Rochambeau to see who keisters the bullets and who
Nose
keisters
goes.
the guns. So
That's not what you did then.
I'm gonna tell you
No.
what. I'm sitting there and I'm going, holy crap. JR's like, what are we gonna do? What are we gonna do? And he's cussing me. He's mad at me. Everybody's mad at me because I'm like, holy crap, I really forgot to. I mean, there's stash spots for us cowboys on the way up to Canada, whether it's a buddy's house or whether it's a mile marker or something like that. We're always stashing guns and stuff.
But not 500 feet away from the border.
No, in the middle of the road. Holy crap. So, I just said, man, we're just gonna have to go and just play dumb if I get caught. And we go, and I'm gonna tell you what, the cowboy card helped us out again. We come up in there, and they're like, "Oh, here comes another creeper stoner." Put my cowboy hat on, and he rolled out my window, and he's like, "Oh, hey, how's it going?" I'm like, "Good. How are you doing today?" And usually the Mounties at the border are a little bit hard ass-ish.
Yeah.
I've never met a mean Canadian, so I'm surprised at that.
The Mounties at the border are freaking like no nonsensers. Yeah. And so he, I just tried to pick up. I Grant Cardoned him. I sold him. I 10x'd my sales pitch.
Sell or be sold.
So, anyways, I just talked to him, and he's like, "What are you guys coming up here for?" I said, "Man, we got a truckload of guys here. We're competing at Cloverdale this afternoon." Cloverdale's 10 minutes from there. And he's like, "I love the Cloverdale rodeo."
Perfect.
And I was like, "Man, are you going to get off in time to come down?" And like, just really like trying to keep him.
We got the right guy.
He didn't even ask us if we had any firearms, so I didn't even have to lie.
Oh, good.
And man, we rolled through there, and we got about 3/4 away from the border behind us, and we all start hooping and hollering. Yeah. And I mean, everybody was just like a sigh of relief. And then we go up to Cloverdale, and that was the day. I remember I had, the bay horse of Kessler's that wiped me out in San Antonio that year. I mean, turned back right there. Kind of heavy and turned back, and
I don't remember because that was the day it poured rain, and I got on like 4 horses that day.
You had the other horse I had at San Antone for a re-ride, that black bald face.
Which one? Because remember they kept running them in.
Yeah, exactly. So I called Caleb crazy that day because he gets off one horse, and you hit the ground somehow, whether he fell down with you or something, I don't remember, but his glove is soaking wet, and it's not really muddy there because they do such a good job with that arena. It's just sandy.
It's sandy.
But they don't have a cover for the contestants. It's just you're just sitting out there, and it always rains.
Always rains.
Always rains.
Can guarantee it's gonna rain there.
And he just kept saying yes to the re-ride. Well, I was done. I walked over to kind of help him and help pull his rigging, and he's almost pulled, and he looks at me. He says, "I have no idea what this horse is. Do you?" And I was like, "Yeah."
Oh, thanks, man.
Do you want the truth?
I was like,
or should I sugarcoat it?
I was like, just bear down. Just be aggressive. Because I remember I got on him at San Antone. I remember Kessler brought in a bunch of 5-year-old colts that hadn't been bucked a whole lot. And he only had 2 out each performance. And I had one of his each semifinals performance. I had a colt in the first one and the second semifinals. I was like, oh, gosh. Because they don't usually do that great at San Antonio under the big happening. They're sweated out and washed out. But
first time to a big rodeo, they get a little. Yeah.
I remember that one was. I remember him because he made me nervous when I was riding him. He would kick so hard and walk on his front end when he'd do it. I felt like we were going head over end.
Yeah.
And that's the one that you were getting on.
He did
the same exact thing with you. I said he kicks hard and maybe walks a little bit. So good luck.
There was a lot of walking and a lot of kicking really hard.
But
I think I'm pretty sure I got on forehead that day and still didn't get a check. I don't think I won crap.
But
rough year.
The one positive thing about that day was we got to go to Tim Hortons afterwards, and that's always a great experience.
Yep.
Get some Timbits.
Yep. Tim's coffee.
Have you ever been?
It's just like a Starbucks, right? Canadian
No.
Starbucks.
No, it's not even close to Starbucks.
Sorry. So much better.
So much better. Timbits? I mean, come on.
What are Timbits? What are Tim's
Timbits
bits?
are what we would call down here in America donut holes.
Okay.
They call them Timbits.
Wow, that sounds
But
awesome.
Tim Horton makes them
Tim Horton
himself.
Wow.
Yeah.
And
Tim's in the
They
back.
have like
You guys are looking
20
at me like you're serious here.
they have like 20 different flavors, don't they?
Ever.
I mean,
Oh, yeah.
apple fritter and just regular glaze. I mean, geez, melt in your mouth. Honey cruller, my favorite.
And you guys are like real professional athletes, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, you're one to talk, Mr. Santa Claus. I get it.
I'm not a professional athlete.
He ate 3/4 of a package of cookie dough last night.
Wow.
And then he gets up and works out, and he's like, I'm being healthy today. I was like, hey, is there some vegetable oil or something to make the eggs with? Oh, no, I just used butter. Oh, well, okay, Sandy. Sounds good.
It's only a couple weeks away. I got to get ready.
You are really embracing your Santa Claus duties.
Yes, thank you. Appreciate that.
You're behind. You're gonna have to eat a lot more cookie dough.
I'm trying.
So if anybody's wondering, yes, I got the gun back across the border.
Oh yeah, we didn't really finish that. We went to another rodeo too. We should talk about that. The one where we ride the ferry.
Yeah.
Isn't that what is that big?
What?
It was a boat. A boat.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, a giant boat.
We rode a giant boat, not a giant ferry, but a giant boat.
Well, that's what it is. You take the ferry across there.
Yeah, no, I mean,
So that's on to like Vancouver Island, apparently.
That's what is that? Victoria?
Yeah, Victoria. I was like, what the heck's the name of it? Victoria.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
They don't have that rodeo anymore, do they?
No, they haven't had it for a couple of years now.
Yeah, because the Green Party up there put a kibosh on it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that was such a cool rodeo.
It was a cool rodeo. So you had to catch the boat at a certain time.
The ferry.
Yeah, and you just park there. All the roper contestants pull their truck and horse trailer on this big boat.
I didn't think about that. Yeah.
Yeah. So they and it only goes over there once a day. Well, I guess twice a day.
I think twice. Yeah.
And then when you get off, it cracked me up. Chance, knock it off. It cracked me up because
Easy giggles.
they send
Serious story.
Okay.
they send a short bus to pick us up.
Yeah.
Remember?
I remember that.
Like
Hold
old
on,
times.
I forgot about.
I'm like, really? You send a short bus to pick us up? Okay.
I forgot about that.
I mean, what are you trying to say here?
Hey, I mean that committee did well though. They didn't. They were always there to pick us up. They always had that good food. I don't remember.
I was just gonna say that the hospitality over there was like shrimp and like fresh seafood, clam chowder.
So how'd they get like the bucking horses over there? Like the
Same
18-wheeler went
way.
on the ferry and
Same
went
way.
across?
Same way.
Oh, heck.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you could even we could have drove the 1992 Starcraft on there if we wanted to, because it's like what is it, $20 or $30 a vehicle, I want to say, or something like that, or you pay like $5 a person.
Yeah, and you can pull your
trip or something.
You can pull your car in there and just lean the seat back and just sleep if you want,
and stay right where all the cars parked.
Huh?
or you can go upstairs and watch whale watching.
Yeah.
Yeah, we watch some.
Go out
whales.
on deck, freeze to death.
Yeah.
Get wet.
Man, you guys are like trying to sell me on something. Like I need to go experience this.
You really do.
You do.
Another spot that you could do that. You could drive there, but Bremerton was another one you could ride the ferry across there. One year I drove over and ferried back. I mean, there's all sorts of ways you could do it.
Yeah.
Which it's a big boat, Chance.
It's a big boat.
Okay.
Chance is really stuck on this ferry deal. But Bremerton was another cool rodeo. Get free haircuts.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was that one was always really good to me. I've won Bremerton 3 times. So I always like going.
I honestly, I don't know that I've been back since I went with you.
Really? That bad?
Oh yeah, that rodeo always just beat the crap out of me. I hate that rodeo.
The first time I went, I had Big Show. Was it Big Show? The Big Yellow of Hanks.
Mm-hmm.
That was when he was a little more enjoyable.
Yeah.
He kind of bailed in the air and hung, and he was still a little heavy, but not quite as heavy as he is now.
Yeah.
Last time I got on him, my epoxy fell out of my rig in about 10 minutes before I had to run my hand in it, and my hand didn't stay in.
Yeah. And to clarify, the epoxy is basically how we keep our hands in our rigging. It's the main source of our bind.
So that's important.
It's very important.
Very important. So when that comes out, all hell breaks loose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what's your favorite rodeo?
Oh.
Let me guess. Can I guess?
Mm-hmm.
Calgary.
Love it. Yeah. hit the. I mean, it's a close toss up when you go from Calgary, Houston, Cloverdale, and even the NFR. But everybody always says non-NFR. What's your favorite rodeo? Probably be Calgary, hands down.
Would you put that in front of the NFR?
Ooh.
There's one rodeo though that is, in my opinion, extremely fun, and there's none other like it. Pendleton.
Yeah, Pendleton is.
Even though I want to go on record, I went there a lot of times, and I don't think I've ever won a check.
Oh, man, I've always had good luck at Pendleton.
I'm serious. I always drew those horses that was just right there, like where you might be able to make short round, but just wasn't quite enough. Booger's Pet is kind of like one of those examples.
Yeah.
Panther Martini, like these are the horses I drew at Pendleton all the time.
Man, Panther Martini, that's a great little 16-point jump kicker.
I will say the time I did get on him at Pendleton, though, he veered off over there to the right. Just kind of a fun. But the pickup men were coming in to get me, and that horse has got some wheels. That horse can run. And he outrun the pickup man down in front of the main grandstands. We were hauling butt, and I just kneed up on him like I was a jockey and took my hat off and over and underneath him, and that crowd just went nuts.
Oh, yeah,
but the atmosphere there is just killer.
Yeah,
I love it.
It's awesome.
So why Calgary? What's so great about Calgary?
Calgary's my domain. Man, I've had great luck there. I've won it once, and I've made that 4-man round probably. When was my first year there? 2013. I'll bet I've made the 4-man round there every year but once. So
that's reason enough.
Yeah, I mean I've finished in the top 4 in that rodeo 5-6 times, and I mean it's
for the people that don't know how much Calgary pays. Tell them how much your final check was for winning the last round.
$100,000.
$100,000
Canadian.
$70,000 American.
Which actually the year I won it transferred into like 94 and some change.
Oh, that was good.
Yeah, the dollar was dang near even that year. So
see, this is why Caleb's one of the best businessmen in the sport of rodeo, and this is why he hasn't chose to win it again. Is he's like, I just don't like this. I don't like
the
this
exchange rate's not good right now,
right.
so I'm holding off till it comes back.
Right.
He's made that 4-man round a few times, and he's like, nah, not the year.
No. I'm
going to
settle for second.
Yeah. I remember something you told me one time, like you actually have a Canadian bank account to hold your funds in there.
Yeah.
That's something I didn't even think
probably
about.
Since 2015. I don't think like from the Canadian finals, Calgary, and rodeoing up there all year long. I've left everything up there because I mean the exchange
is it still up there?
Yep.
Well, when do you pull it out?
When, like I said, you just said I was a good businessman. When that dollar comes back to about even, and our exchange rates are about the same.
Have you been paying attention to the politics up there? You're in for a long road, buds.
Well, I've got a hidden retirement then. So, yeah, I can't touch that till I'm 59.
MC hammering it.
Yeah.
Can't touch it.
No, can't touch this.
And we're getting a little awkward right now.
So Canada sounds like the place to be, I guess, from what you say.
I mean, I love it.
Yeah.
I do. I mean,
is that where you usually rodeo in the summertime? Is Canada then?
We spend a lot of time up there. I didn't get to. I mean, they didn't have any rodeos this year. They completely shut that place down. But
yeah. Is that why you're not entered in this rodeo?
Probably.
Talk about that.
Well, I mean, this year was hectic, as we all know. I mean, they shut down a lot of the season for us, right around March. Didn't really come back and get rolling until June.
And you had a strategy this winter, though. You had a surgery. You're saying, I'm going to hang out for the winter.
Yeah. I mean, I had to have surgery after last year's NFR on my wrist. Put me out, a good 5-6 months or whatever it was. And when I got to come back, everything was on hold. I mean, there's no rodeos. They shut everything down.
Well, you come back at the American. You had a qualification for the American because you ended up in the top 10 last year.
And that was a dumb, stubborn move. I wasn't ready, but I felt like I'd been sitting at home too long.
Yeah, it's a difficult decision.
And
I remember you calling me, picking my brain about it.
Yeah, I mean, I was still way too sore to probably be nodding my head, but in my mind, I felt like I rightfully deserved that spot and earned that spot. And like I said, I'd been at home too long, and I love the sport of rodeo and riding bucking horses so much that I was like, man, I can go grit this out for 8 seconds, you know?
Yeah.
And I remember actually talking to you after that, and he was like, what do you think would have happened if you'd actually rode and made that 8-man the next day? I was been like, I would have hoped for the hopper in the pen, even though there wasn't one, and tried to do my best, you know. But yeah, I wasn't ready. And as the season went on, there was slim pickings for rodeos. What rodeos we did have added $2,000 to $5,000 a rodeo, and when you're trying to make up a winter run, like, mind you, my winter runs from Houston, San Antonio, San Angelo, everything else that goes on. I mean, I usually have pretty good winter runs and have a $15,000 to $30,000, $40,000 winter. Well, that's a big chunk of change when you're trying to make the NFR right there. And
I mean, if you'd had 15,000, you'd have made the finals here.
Yeah, I mean, that's all it would have taken was an extra 15. I'd have been there. And not having that and then trying to play catch up with no rodeos to go to, it was just.
And then not to mention, there's rodeos throughout the season, what we call duck offs, where you can kind of, you know, if you need to make up some ground, we call them duck offs because usually not your elites, or a lot of them don't enter that. You can kind of roll off over there, win you easy couple $1,000 and roll on if you need to. Those are good confidence builder rodeos if you're in a slump. But there was none of that this year. Every single rodeo that you went to, you were competing with everyone. The elite, right on down to the young guys that, you know, there's a lot of young guys that ride good, but they haven't figured out how to ride those strong ones yet. But if they draw that hopper, I mean, they're tough to beat.
Yeah, oh yeah.
So you got everybody you're competing with.
Yeah, I mean, this was the first year in my career, and I mean, I've been doing this for a few years now, where bareback riders were actually getting drawn out of rodeos. Mm-hmm. There's not that many bareback riders to usually get drawn out of rodeos, but there's slim pickings for rodeos. Everybody's hungry, craving it, and wanting to go, and not enough entries. I mean, you go to a 3-day rodeo, they take 30 to 45 entries. They're getting 60 to 70. They're drawing 30 guys out of these rodeos.
Oh, wow.
You know? And I mean, on that subject, Coleman, Texas this year was one of those that had like a 45 person cap on it, only limited to 45. Stay Smith and his crew, my hat's off to them. I mean, they helped kind of kick off getting rodeo going back again, or getting them going again with that rodeo. Mm-hmm. And Stay Smith spent, I don't know, X 20, 30, whatever, $1,000 out of his own pocket to bring in other contractors, and he took I want to say we got 75 entries at that rodeo. There was slack in the bareback riding after the rodeo.
Never happens.
And Stay Smith and Coleman, they did it. And then, I mean, from then on, you know, we started having more rodeos, more people could see it could be done. You know, there just had to be some protocols and follow along. And that kind of got what we did have for a season, in my mind, rolling. But like I said, it just slim pickings. And back to the Canada deal, I go up there all summer long and can win 15,000, 20,000 out of Pinoca, you know, another good chunk out of the Strathmore and Airdrie and all those that go on up there. And I have a $20,000, $30,000 hit out of Canada alone, and didn't have the opportunity to do that this year, and didn't have that. And I would say, yeah, I mean, not being able to go up there played a little bit in the fact of why I'm not entered here.
For sure.
Yeah. So one last thing I want to hit on here is I want to know, A, how you got your start and who your idols were growing up.
How I got my start.
Yeah, like what made you choose bareback riding? Who got you involved in bareback riding?
Gosh dang, I'd have been. I started when I was 12. You know, a guy named Garrett Olson, Jess Thomas, and Sean Dudley. I don't know. A handful of them guys, Hutch Haslam and his dad and everything. They kind of. I rode them bareback ponies, which we already talked about, and I don't agree with. I started there and went through junior rodeos and stuff that way, and I only did it for an extra event to win the all-around. Well, them guys I just mentioned, they kind of pulled me aside as I was turning into like the freshman, 8th grade and freshman season, started helping me out a bunch and kind of getting me ready for high school rodeo. And I mean, once again, I was nodding my head on bucking horses that first half of the season, my freshman year, just for all-around points. I loved riding bulls. That was my deal. I rode bulls, team rope, and rode bucking horses, and riding bulls and team roping was my deal. And after the fall, my freshman year, everything clicked. And it was from then on, all of a sudden, riding bucking horses become my forte, and the other events went downhill. And I owe it to them guys. They just kind of, I think they seen maybe I needed some help and was struggling, and they kind of helped guide me along, push me along. And the more and more I got on, the more and more I craved it. Once I learned how to use my feet, learned how to lift, learned how to actually ride a hopper even, that's when I fell in love with it, and it just grew from there.
So when you were in junior high and high school, and you were watching these elite guys, these guys that were at the NFR in your time, who are the guys that you watched that you wanted to emulate, that you wanted to ride like, and that you wanted to pursue that?
I don't even know.
You wanted to be Caleb Bennett, didn't you?
Well, yeah. I mean, I loved watching bareback riding, and I remember watching Kelly Timberman, Cimarron Gerke. I mean, a handful of them guys, even old videos or whatever, Ty Murray and whoever else. I mean, spurring bucking horses and growing up watching, but I never had that one that I was like, that's who I want to ride like.
Yeah.
I never really had that. I mean, I've had, I guess, guys like the way they talk, act, work at it, whatever. Your Casey Field, your Bobby Moats, like them guys that are really putting in the time and great world champions. Like I look up to them, still do. But I never really had that one that I was like, I want to try to ride like that.
Yeah. One last question for you, Caleb. If you could, if you had a young kid that was coming up to you and said, what do I need to do to get my start, and how do I go about this, what would you tell them?
Well, I guess one, it would depend on how far along they are. Two, I would start them probably the same way I started my younger brother, and I'd tell them to get their butt in the gym. And you can spend 2 months in the gym, dedicated, stay with it, 4 or 5 days a week, prove to me that you want it, then I'll step aside and I'll take the time to help you and push you along further. But it starts with discipline, as much as you know. Like riding bucking horses, there's so many kids nowadays claim they want to ride bucking horses. And I've done a handful of schools, and you can pick 2 or 3 kids out that are actually going to take what you teach them and use it. And the rest of if you got 15 kids, the rest of the 12 are just there because their parents wanted to bring them there.
Yeah, for sure. And that's one thing I wanted to touch on. We don't have a lot of time right now, but your little brother Cooper Bennett. This kid is going to be seen at the finals. I've been watching him. The first time I seen him, I was in Ogden, Utah, and you couldn't be there. He had a high school rodeo, and you said, hey, will you go help my little brother on? And he's got a horse today that I don't really want anybody else doesn't know what they're doing, get on him. And when I seen this kid, I was like, holy cow, this kid rides good. And he rode extremely well. Now he's old enough to be traveling with you a little bit, and I look to see him there. But one thing that I would add to that, as you well know, that we talked about a little bit earlier, is surround yourself around people that know the game, that make you better.
Yep.
Don't try to surround yourself around people that you can beat, because that doesn't make you better.
No,
you got to strive to be better, whether it's competing or business or whatever it is. You got to surround yourself around those people that sharpen your tools, and I know Caleb extremely well. And if any of you young guys are out there, you have kids that are wanting to be bareback riders, if you see Caleb, go talk to him, because I've seen him from the time he was in high school till now, and his head is not big at all, and he's always wanting to help people, and he's easy to talk to. We always have a great time, and we're extremely glad that you come on the Tack Room Talk today, and hope to have you sometime in the future again.
Heck yeah, it's been fun. I'll look forward to it.
Absolutely. Well, have a good rest of the week. We've got a busy week ourselves, but yeah, we're going to do some more of this extremely soon. So thanks for being with us today. Adios.
See ya.